On Friday morning, the Israeli Air Force launched a large and coordinated attack under the title Operation Rising Line, which is being described as the largest aerial operation in the region in recent years. In this operation, Israel demonstrated its air superiority by using nearly 200 modern fighter jets, including state-of-the-art stealth and bomber aircraft such as the F-35 and F-151. The primary objective of this operation was to target those Iranian installations that Israel has long considered a direct threat. According to sources, more than 60 important and sensitive Iranian defense centers were targeted in this operation. These included not only installations related to the nuclear program but also military command centers. Specifically, military bases located in the suburbs of Tehran, the famous uranium enrichment facility in Natanz, a major nuclear research center in Tabriz, defense institutions in Isfahan, and the missile division in Arak were targeted. All these are considered the backbone of Iran's defensive strategy and strategic capability. The attack targeted not only surface-level infrastructure but also underground constructions based on specific intelligence information, which were suspected to be part of Iran's ballistic missile and nuclear program. Initial reports indicate that several important underground centers sustained severe damage, and the installations inside them were completely or partially destroyed. The intensity of this attack can be gauged by the fact that explosions were heard even in urban areas of Tehran, causing severe panic among the public. In some areas, building windows were shattered and electricity supply was disrupted, after which local authorities immediately took safety measures. Civil defense institutions appealed to the public to remain indoors, and emergency teams were dispatched to the affected areas. Fars news agency has confirmed that more than 70 people were killed and over 320 injured in the Israeli attacks. Fars news agency is under the control of Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps and is generally considered a semi-official media outlet of the Iranian government. Israel's daytime aerial attacks on Iran indicate its clear military superiority. These daytime airstrikes by Israel on Iran signify that it does not particularly care about Iran's air defense system, and this represents a major shift in the balance of power between the two enemies. Dr. Imad Al-Anis, an expert in international relations and Middle East and North Africa affairs, affiliated with Nottingham Trent University, told our correspondent that it is extraordinary that Israel conducted the attacks during the day. He said, "This indicates that Israel has complete freedom of movement in the air and does not feel any serious threat from Iranian air defense." According to Al-Anis, this level of confidence signifies that there has been a fundamental shift in the balance of power between the two countries, and Israel has chosen a time that is extremely strategically favorable for it. He further said that Iran's ability to respond appears to be limited. Compared to past years, Iran's capabilities seem to have significantly weakened, he said. According to Imad Al-Anis, it is quite clear that Israel is not conducting a limited or brief operation, but it seems this campaign may continue for several weeks and could include hundreds of targets. This is very concerning, because it indicates that this is a broad, organized, and long-term campaign, not a limited or specific operation. He said that Israel's objective is not only to destroy or neutralize Iran's nuclear installations, many of which are located dozens of meters underground with strict security measures, but also to target key individuals. Despite such intensity, this campaign is not aimed at regime change, but rather at weakening Iran's nuclear capability, and its real objective is to eliminate the infrastructure and key figures associated with this system, Anis said. This aerial attack is not only a major military event but has also raised many questions about the security of Iran's defense system and nuclear installations. The gravity of this operation is being assessed internationally as well, and various global institutions have expressed deep concern over the escalating tension in the region. After the attack, Iran's defense and nuclear institutions suffered another major shock when reports emerged about the deaths of some prominent figures. These included the Chief of Staff of the Iranian Armed Forces, General Mohammad Bagheri, the Central Commander of the Revolutionary Guards, Major General Hossein Salami, and the Commander of the Qadam al-Anbiya Headquarters, General Ghalam Ali Rashid. The deaths of these key leaders disrupted the continuity of Iran's military leadership and also affected the potential retaliatory response. Additionally, two key Iranian nuclear scientists, Dr. Faridun Abbasi, who was also a former chairman of the Atomic Energy Organization, and Professor Mohammad Taranchi, who was the president of the Islamic Azad University, lost their lives in the attack. The targeting of these scientists indicates that Israel's strategy is not merely to destroy installations but to paralyze Iranian strategic thought. Meanwhile, the injury of Ali Shamkhani, a senior member of Iran's National Security Council and a close advisor to the supreme leader, further clarified the scope of the attack. This indicates that the Israeli strike was not limited to technical targets, but rather was a systematic plan to target top leadership as well. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu explained in his statement that these attacks were carried out to neutralize Iran's nuclear infrastructure and ballistic missile production centers. In response, Iran immediately launched about 100 drones toward Israel and threatened retaliatory action on the northern border. Following this attack, Iran's supreme leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei issued a stern statement in which he warned Israel of a bitter and painful outcome and said that the armed forces would take account of this aggression. Additionally, Iran's Ministry of Foreign Affairs called it a serious violation of international law, while Iran's defense leadership hinted that Israel would have to pay a heavy price. The Israeli attacks have united the Iranian people around the national flag and have made war inevitable, said an Iranian academic. Professor Fouad Izzadi of Tehran University told Truthory that there is a strong public sentiment in Iran that the country must go to war and retaliate forcefully. Iran did not want war, but the other side left no other option. And now the response should be so severe that it never happens again. He further stated, "This is a regrettable situation, and now we are likely to witness another war." According to Fouad Izzadi, these attacks in Iran are being seen as a joint operation by the United States and Israel, and therefore, American installations in the region may also be considered legitimate military targets. Iran does not want a military confrontation with the United States, but if Iran decides to attack American bases, it will have fully legitimate reasons to do so. Internationally, the effects of this attack have also been significant. United Nations Secretary-General Antonio Guterres appealed for restraint, while Oman declared the Israeli action a violation of the international charter. U.S. President Donald Trump refused to intervene in the Israeli move but reiterated his support for Israel's defense. Even until late evening today, the U.S. President, in brief phone calls to various television channels, praised Israel's attacks on Iran. Trump told ABC News, "I think the strike was excellent, and there's still a lot more to come. A lot more." Speaking to CNN, Donald Trump said, "The hardliners I was dealing with are now dead." U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio emphasized the protection of American forces as a priority and warned Iran against any possible attack. Meanwhile, the International Atomic Energy Agency confirmed that the Natanz facility had come under attack, and radiation levels were being continuously monitored. Agency head Rafael Grossi described the operation as extremely serious, particularly in the context of potential radiation release and environmental risks. Immediately after the attack, global markets were shaken. Oil prices rose by 6 to 12%, and Brent oil futures jumped from $74 to $78 per barrel. This increased uncertainty in the global economic climate, and investors adopted a cautious stance. Looking ahead, this operation is being described as the largest air campaign against Iran since 1988. Israel has presented it as a defensive move aimed at limiting Iran's nuclear and missile program. However, Iran's acceleration of nuclear activities, restructuring of its missile systems, and the adoption of a stronger defense strategy suggest that this conflict is unlikely to end anytime soon.